Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Regina Mutiru, and in this channel I share about simple living. And under simple living we talk about decluttering, giving and saving money. And so today we are going to be talking about saving money, and I have to put this disclaimer that I am not a financial management expert, but I do share experiences from my life, what has worked in my life, what financial steps I have taken and have made me reach where I am, or have made me a better person. What I have learned from others is what I share in this channel. Let's define financial freedom or financial independence. Financial freedom is that level where you are not relying on other people to live your life for your normal day-to-day expenses. And sometimes some sites will tell you that for the rest of your life, that you are financially free. And some sites were defined financial freedom as having not to rely on others to meet your financial needs. And another site defined it as having enough income to pay one's living expenses. And when I read this, it hit me how I've been telling my friends and family that I want to reach to a place where even if I was working, even if I have a job that I go to every day, I will not rely on that money to run my home or to live my life. That I am able to pay my rent, that I am able to pay, if I have a child in school, I am able to pay their school fees, that I'm able to have food on the table without relying on my job. And for me, where I want to reach is that place, and that's when I can say I am financially free. It may take long. I don't know how long it is going to take me to get there, but I am working towards getting there. And that's why today I want to share those steps that I have taken as an individual towards our financial freedom. The first step that I took and we took as a family is equipping ourselves with information around personal finances. I have read books, and I have said this before in some of my videos and also in my blog, that I have read books about financial management, especially personal finances. And I tell people that these are some of the things we were never told in school. So now as an individual at this age where I want financial freedom, then I had to equip myself with information on how to do it. And that's where I started reading books. I remember I've read this book by Waseke Ntuati of Centonomy. I have listened to thousands and thousands of videos, especially on Centonomy, because I'm based in Kenya. I am in Kenya, and I want also to understand how the Kenyan market works. I've even developed interest in entrepreneurship, I think, because of listening to a lot of financial information. And it's good, it's doing good for me. I'm not complaining. And at the same time, I've listened to international experts as well on videos. I've listened to experts that, like, for example, I remember listening to buying a house versus building a house, and all that information pertaining financial management. And that gave me a footing to start on building my finances towards financial freedom. And from that reading, then came the issue of budgeting, that you need a budget. You cannot just live your life blindly, like you get your income, you get your 20,000 Kenyan shillings at the end of the month, you pay rent here. So because this month I think I have so many things to do, I'm not going to, the 2,000 that I usually put on the saving, on the circle, I'm not going to put it because I think I have so many things to do, so many things have come up. So by reading and understanding personal finance, I learned about budgeting, that I need to budget how I'm going to spend my money for that month, and that everything I spent my money on, I need to put it down. You could create an Excel on your computer. You could also put it down by just writing on the notebook. And I've done the notebook more than the Excel, because sometimes I put it on the notebook and tell myself that I'm going to transfer it to the Excel, but I never do that, because sometimes I use money while on a matatu, for example, or I meet someone, I spent money with them, I need to note it down, forgetting to put it on the Excel. But my book in order in terms of the expenses that I have spent on that particular month. And so by budgeting, I realized that I was using money on some things that did not matter. Because at the end of the month, you look at your expenses. We spent this money on this. We had, of course, there are those constant items that have to be purchased each month, or those constant costs that have to be paid. For example, maybe rent, maybe you'll pay house help here, maybe you'll pay those constant ones, putting them down as well. And then there's budgeting for example, food stuff, and that you do shopping, not a blank budget, that you're doing shopping. You usually do shopping for 10,000 every week. You'll be shocked when you are intentional and you are recording everything. You realize that this week, maybe you spent 5,000. The other week, you're spending 7,000. So that helps you track where your money is going. And that has helped me. And I've been able to track how much do I spend on food, for example. I used to say I spend 5,000 a month on food. That's an example. And by tracking that, putting a budget, I realized, no, I don't. I spent, for example, 10,000 shillings on food a month, or I spent 2,000. So then you start, kumbe, if I'm spending less, then I would take this extra 3,000 and put it somewhere else. Budgeting, very key, and it has helped me. And on that note, I remember one time I was in the field for work with a colleague, and I had forgotten to put some item that I had bought on the notebook. In fact, it was not buying. I gave my sister some fare, 150 Kenyan shillings. Yes, that little. But I had forgotten to put it down. So there I was. Sister's fare, 150 shillings. My colleague could not believe it. Like, Regina, 150 shillings, putting it down? Yes, because it helps me track my expenses. And for those who have interacted with me lately, that's why I will not just buy things because you've come selling things to me. I have to be in need of that item that you're selling to me for me to buy it. That's what budget has told me. And I hope it teaches you the same too, so that we can manage our expenses better. And so the third item, or the third step that I have taken, is reducing my expenditure. And just by explaining about budget, you realize that I have reduced my expenditure. So if I'm not going to buy things because I want them, or because you have come to me selling them to me, then you realize that my expenditure will not be as much as it used to be before, when I was not intentional with my finances. So I have taken some steps to reduce my expenses. The first one we did was to analyze our expenditure in terms of budget. How much do we spend on food? How much do we spend on groceries? How much are we spending on rent? How much are we spending on every item? And where can we reduce? What can we stop spending on? Or what can we, if we were buying something that is costing 300 and there's another one that is costing 200 and it is giving us the same service, can we do that? By doing that, for example, we realized that we had this brand of tissue in our minds. Every time we went shopping to the supermarket, straight to that corner where we know that brand is usually placed and picking it. But when we started doing our expenses and our budgeting and also looking at our expenses, why do we have to spend all this amount on a tissue? Oh no, but I like it, it's nice. And so my better half used to say, it's rewarding the behind. We are rewarding the behind. So we used to buy the best, the softest tissue you can ever imagine. And there are other brands that you can reward your behind with that are good as well. And at that moment, now we started being keen, and let's go and look at those other brands and realize that other brands that are similar like those ones, like that one we used to love, and they were at a lower price. And from that day, we stopped buying brands and started buying those items, and for example, tissue that was giving us a good offer. And to date, when I go to buy tissue, not only tissue and other items, let me continue with this example of tissue because that's where I am. I don't look at the brand. I look at who is giving me an offer today. For example, this brand here was 300 last week. Today it is 250. Wow, what an offer. That's the brand I'm going to take. Because it's a good tissue. It's only that they're drawing us closer. So they have given us an offer today. Next week, because that brand thinks I bought it today, I will buy it next week. I will not. I'll go and look again. Brand C was 320 last week. Today it is 240. I am going to buy a brand C. And so that has helped us reduce our expenses. Besides that, we took such a major step, which we have shared in one of the videos that I've posted. We moved from the house that we used to live in. So we bought a house in 2014, 2016, because it took 2 years to complete the building. And we've been living in that house. Of course, as a young couple, first home owners, you want to live in your house, you're excited. And the house is in such a nice environment. And so we've been living in that house, and I can't complain. I've had fun in it. And it's not that where I'm living it's a bad place. But now we decided to rent that house out and get out and rent house somewhere else. We decided to use half of the money that comes from the rented house to help us pay the rent on this other side. And you'll agree with me, my house is not a bad one. This is the house that I'm living in. Ni zile nyumba za kitambo, yeah? But they are very nice, very spacious, and we like it here as well. So by renting out our house on the other side, then we have extra money that we can use on something else, that we can save or invest or do whatever we want with it. And I'm going to tell you what we do with that money on the next point, which is increased my savings, or increased our savings and our investment. So here we are with an extra income that we did not have. What are we going to do with it? Here we are with extra monies that we are saving from reduced expenses, reduced tissues. I mean, the amount that is coming from tissue, the amount that is coming from bottled water that we used to buy that we no longer buy. So there's money, there's saving there. Every week we used to use 400 Kenyan shillings for money. Really? Like, I don't even know how we used to survive. Like, we had so much money, surely. Anyway, there are so many things that we stopped buying when we did our calculations. And now by also increasing our income through the rent that is coming. So where do we take this money? We increased our savings, we increased our investment. For example, in my circle, I used to save a certain amount of money, and I wouldn't call it saving because it gives me dividends at the end of the year, and so I'll call it investment. I used to invest this particular amount of money, but when we started getting this income, even before we started renting the house, through the monies that came from these other savings, I increased my savings I doubled what I used to give. And I never used to give little money. I used to give quite a good amount. I just wrote a letter to the HR, increase my whatever going to the circle by this amount. And so that's an increase to the investment. So this, at the end, I think now the dividends are being given by circles. I'm waiting for some good money. I know the economy has not been good because of Corona and such like, but still, I know I'm going to get better dividends than I did last year. And the other step that we have taken, or rather have taken, is an emergency kitty. We created an emergency kitty. I mean, from all this reading and understanding financial management and personal finance, even you, if you decided to get into that arena and understand personal finances, you will see the need of having a kitty for an emergency. And I'm telling you, this kitty has come in handy. We never used to have one, by the way. If something happened to us before, rent ikose kuingia that month, or something this happens, then we will not be able to pay the house help. At least we had a house, so we were not paying rent. We will not be able to pay the house help. There's a loan that we have not finished paying. I'm just praying God it finishes soon because I don't want loans. We will not be able to do those things because we didn't have an emergency kitty. In this period, we decided to start an emergency kitty, and it has helped us. I remember one time we needed money for hospital bill for a parent that was sick, and it came in handy. If we did not have it, and it was in the middle of the month, where you have planned your expenses like this, you have planned your monies like this, you know what is going where, this one is going here. You'll be forced perhaps to borrow someone or go to the, get a loan to sort such an issue. But because we had an emergency kitty, we were able to sort that comfortably. And when financial freedom talks about being able to meet your financial needs without inconveniencing others or without relying on your family members, that's exactly what it is. That I did not have need to rely on my family to sort this other issue. I was able to sort it by myself. And so for me, financial freedom, or taking small steps towards being financially free, it's working for me. And I hope I will get to that one place. I will get to that place where I'll be financially free. And finally, I am very intentional on my purchases. I just don't purchase because you have come to me selling this particular item, which looks very good, by the way, very nice item. But I'm not going to buy it if I do not need it. If I had not planned to buy it, I will not. I will perhaps take your number, and when I need to buy that item, then I'll buy it then. So that's me and my family and the steps that we have taken towards building our finances to reach a place where we can be financially free. I hope you have learned one or two things that you can take up from your side, or that you can share with a friend. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. We share a lot about savings and decluttering and giving. Thank you so much for keeping on following my videos and watching. I really, really appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next. Thank you. Bye.